Number 12. Thousands of shoes. Shoes are something that you wear on your feet, and you find in stores. But in Terschelling, which is a Dutch island, you potentially have the option of finding them on the beach. The goers of a beach went one morning and found thousands of shoes just strewn across the coastline. Not hundreds, thousands. More interesting, they were all running shoes, though of different looks and appearances at times. Though flummoxed and no doubt trying to see if any of the shoes would fit their feet, an answer to what had happened eventually came. A ship had been going through a storm, and the storm knocked a container carrying the shoes into the water, which led to the shoes being along the beach. What happened to the shoes afterwards is unclear, but I'm sure many found a new home that wasn't waterlogged. Number 11. Giant eyeball. In 2012, in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, a man was going down the beach when he saw a rather large, perfectly round object. When he looked closer at the object, after a few kicks, he realized he was looking at a giant eyeball. The man took the eye home and put it into his refrigerator so that it could be preserved until the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission could come and get it. The eyeball was about the size of a softball, so the scientists were very intrigued to find out where it had come from. They were able to debunk rumors that it was some kind of monster eye, and instead found that it was from a swordfish. For the record, swordfish can grow to a long length and weigh up to 1,400 pounds. As for how the eye got away from the body, the scientists noticed distinctive cut marks on the eye, which means that someone actually cut it out of the swordfish. Number 10. The football fish. On a California beach, Ben Estes stumbled upon a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. While walking along the shores of Newport Beach, he came across a very rare deep-sea fish with teeth like broken shards of glass and a completely black body shaped like a football. It looked like a monster birthed from another dimension. However, according to the Smithsonian Magazine, this horrible monster was actually a female Pacific football fish, one of over 200 different species of anglerfish that live in the world's oceans. This particular one lives at a depth of about 3,000 feet. The football fish lives in total darkness, so deep in the ocean that light never even reaches it. What's really boggling experts is how exactly it ended up on the shore in California. Even more mysterious is that it was found completely intact, in almost perfect condition. It was such a unique and unexpected discovery that the Los Angeles County's National History Museum wanted to add the fish to their collection of bizarre ocean species. They only have 3 anglerfish in the collection as of right now, with only one other anglerfish actually coming locally from California. Number 9. Monster fish in Alaska. A bizarre creature was discovered washed up near a dock in the city of Gustavus, Alaska. The animal was about 6 feet long and first spotted by a local worker who had never seen such a strange animal before. In fact, nobody could figure out what the rotting carcass on the beach was. It wasn't until the Glacier Bay National Park and Preserve got involved that the monster was identified as a ragfish. According to park officials, adult ragfish typically live 4,600 feet beneath the surface of the ocean. They hunt squid, octopus, and jellyfish. But the fish is very rare, and this is why nobody could recognize it. The fish is so rarely seen that its scientific name is Ecosteus enigmaticus, with the keyword there being enigmatic. Nobody knows what could have possibly caused the weird ragfish to get washed up on the shore, and to make matters worse, it was found to be a pregnant female carrying eggs. Number 8. Stabbed shark. In Los Cabos, Mexico, a murdered shark washed up on the beach. It was a sunny day in February when the dead shortfin mako shark appeared on the sand with a puncture wound in its head and the murder weapon still embedded in the young shark's flesh. It was a marine murder mystery, and nobody could say for certain what animal killed the shark. It had been stabbed in the brain so hard that it died. But how? According to Live Science, marine experts said that it could have been a marlin, a sailfish, or possibly a stingray. These are all animals that have pointy things to use in self-defense. What probably happened is that the young mako shark tried to eat something and was unsuccessful. The shark tried to grab its meal, but instead got something sharp straight through its head, and then it floated to the shore. Mako sharks usually grow to be at least 12 foot long, but this was just a 3-foot baby. It looks like the shark mama didn't teach this little guy how to eat properly, and it suffered the consequences. Number 7. Mysterious creature. A fossil hunter in the United Kingdom was looking for historical treasures along the shoreline of East Yorkshire when he stumbled upon a strange and mysterious monster that he at first thought was a baby killer whale. Scott didn't know what to make of the strange animal. It was about 5 feet long and appeared to have a large bite taken out of its back end. Somebody, or something, literally bit the poor animal's butt off. Nobody managed to properly identify the creature. It did look like a baby whale or some kind of porpoise, but the exact species is still unknown. Minke whales are known to frequent the area, and so are humpbacks, and even small dolphins and the occasional pod of killer whales. It was most likely a newly born whale that got separated from its mother and bitten by a hungry predator before floating onto the shore. Number 6. Bitten by a giant eel. A woman was sunbathing on a beach in Hawaii when she made an absolutely horrifying discovery. Kristen Porter was relaxing on a floaty, minding her own business, when, from out of nowhere, she felt something sink its teeth into her flesh. She had been right at the edge of the shore for hours with her feet hanging in the water and hadn't expected to be attacked by a sea monster. The bite was so bad that Kristen freaked out and had to be helped back onto shore by her son and a couple of other people at the beach. Her foot was bleeding profusely, with the water practically turning crimson from all the blood. Kristen got some help from the lifeguard, who examined her wound and said she had been bitten by a rare eel. This isn't something that happens frequently. Eels are almost exclusively active in the night and usually stay far away from humans. Eels are not known to be aggressive at all and only bite if a person does something like stick one of their limbs into its lair. They also don't hang out at the beach, which made the attack even more unusual and mysterious. Judging by the bite marks, experts say it was probably a moray eel, and the creature was probably at least 5 feet long. Kristen didn't lose her foot or anything, but she was pretty traumatized from the incident. What's the scariest thing you've ever encountered at the beach? Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe and let us know what other videos you'd like to see. Number 5. Mystery blob. A mysterious blob was just found washed ashore on the beach in North Carolina, and the park rangers have no idea what it is. You know it's a mystery when the actual rangers who work in the area are so clueless that they have to resort to posting photographs online to try and identify the weird thing. The best theory is that the blob is actually a kind of gel-like pod used for holding squid eggs. More specifically, it's a jelly-like mass used by multiple squids to lay their eggs. You see, squids lay their eggs together in one big mass. That way, all the baby squids can hatch at the same time. This mass was probably made by a group of California market squids. But in this case, it looks like putting all their eggs into one basket, or should we say one jelly blob, was a bad idea. The blob must have gotten pulled in with the tide, and now the poor squid babies will never be born. Number 4. Prehistoric monster. A prehistoric monster was discovered on the beach in New Jersey. This bizarre fish dates back to the time of the dinosaurs. It has scales, a fin, and almost looks like a marine Komodo dragon. It's really known as the Atlantic sturgeon, and it was spotted dead in the sand of Island Beach State Park by Stephanie Hall as she went for a jog. She was cutting through the sand dunes to avoid some seals she saw in the water when she came face to face with the prehistoric monster. At first, she thought it was some kind of huge lizard. She froze, half expecting the thing to leap into the air and attack her. Of course, the Atlantic sturgeon did not attack. It may be millions of years old, but it hasn't developed the ability to breathe on land just yet. It was already stone cold dead, probably thrown onto the beach during high tide. While the Atlantic sturgeon used to be fairly common, it's now become rare. This is a tragedy, since the sturgeon appears in the fossil record as far back as 200 million years. A century ago, there were over 100,000 of them swimming in the waters around New Jersey. But now, New Jersey Fish and Wildlife only tag about 200 of them each year. Number 3. The hoodwinker sunfish. Yet another bizarre monster washed up on a beach in California. This time it was something known as a hoodwinker sunfish. It was found at a coastal nature preserve near Santa Barbara. The weird thing about the discovery is that the hoodwinker sunfish doesn't actually live off the coast of North America. These fish live in the tropical and temperate waters around New Zealand and Australia. Never before has one even been seen in North American water. And this posed quite a mystery to local scientists. Nobody knows how it ended up so far from home, but scientists now wonder if they don't live all throughout the world and are just so sneaky that they've never been caught this far north before. Another theory is that the hoodwinker sunfish traveled to the northern hemisphere when a huge mass of water warmed in 2014 and 2015, known as the blob, and it got displaced and ended up dead on the beach. Number 2. The biggest sea monster. Something believed to be one of the largest sea monsters that ever prowled the oceans of the world has just been found by a fossil hunter on the south coast of England. Of course, the monster wasn't found alive. It actually lived 150 million years ago and probably grew upwards of 50 feet long. It was such a powerful predator that it could have snapped a car in half with its jaws and then ate a T-Rex like a breakfast snack. The monster is called a pliosaur, and it was a type of plesiosaur. It belonged to a group of massive aquatic reptiles that ruled the seas and oceans during the Jurassic and Cretaceous periods. According to paleontologist Richard Forrest, the T-Rex was a kitten next to the pliosaur, and that's how dangerous this thing was. But what about the one found on the beach? Well, its whole skeleton wasn't found. Instead, the fossil hunter discovered only its skull, which measured 8 feet in length. The fossil had been buried inside some nearby limestone cliffs that had been brought down by a storm. The skull had been buried inside the cliffs for longer than humans have been alive. Number 1. Invasive river Amazon monster. In Florida, a mysterious sea creature has been discovered near the Gulf of Mexico, and its bones have scientists confused. The animal was discovered at Cape Coral by a local resident. It wasn't really much of a creature anymore, though. It was really just a skeleton. The animal had been picked clean of every last piece of flesh, leaving nothing but shiny white bones. Residents were immediately concerned because of another strange discovery that had been made previously, when Florida residents discovered the bones of an arapaima washed up on the shores of the Caloosahatchee River. The arapaima is a type of predatory fish from the Amazon, and it may be the newest invasive species to sneak into Florida. But according to Ryan O'Gara from the Sanibel Captiva Conservation Foundation, the bones probably didn't belong to an arapaima. They just don't look similar enough. The bones also didn't belong to a shark, because sharks have cartilage instead of bones, and this stuff usually sinks. Experts can't figure out what animal the bones belong to, or even how the skeleton washed up on the shore, seeing as skeletons don't typically float. The bones could be the remains of a mysterious, unknown species, or they could just be part of an ordinary fish picked clean by a bigger, hungrier fish in the ocean. What's the craziest thing you've ever found at the beach? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more awesome content.